Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you. All right, welcome to episode 162 of 15 Minutes of Genius. We have a mic now. We have headphones now. We're super high tech here on the show. It took me, a year and a half to figure out how to do this. And anyway, so couple laundry list items just to talk about. Make sure to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. We really rely on your ratings. There's also a crowdfunding campaign that is happening. I think, Austin, you know, I think it takes money, right, to run a CPG brand.
A little bit.
Yep. So there is a Republic campaign, which we'll put in the comments. But essentially, the website is Republic, and it's a crowdfunding campaign for Genius Juice to invest in us and actually get equity in our company. And the website is the whole address, republic.com/genius-juice2, the number 2. And I will put that in the comments for you to support us and invest in our brand to help us grow in 2023. All right. So without further ado, I go way back with this guy. I mean, literally, we were in the same beverage showdown in 2014. You presented Tio Gazpacho. I presented Genius Juice. I got the runner-up spot. Austin got the first spot, the championship spot, and well-deserved because the product is awesome. And I want to introduce to you Austin Allan of now the company that he runs and founder and CEO of is Sugarwood. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. It was a dreary day in New York, but I'm trying to stay motivated. It was hard today.
Yeah. LA is kind of going through that too. I mean, Vegas was funny. We ran into each other at the fancy food show. That's how we got this going. And now we're doing the 15 Minutes of Genius show, but it was actually raining in Vegas, right? The day of that I met you.
Yep.
Or ran into you. And then it's also raining in LA, even right now after the show. So it's like rain, can't escape it. And by the way, I just wanted to mention too, because I'm just reading this off his LinkedIn page. He's a seasoned marketer. He also was the previous founder and CEO of Tio Gazpacho, a drinkable soup company, which is a delicious product. And he's also, and by the way, Sugarwood, I want to explain it, is in the LGBTQ community, and it's an experiential adult dessert shop. So I wanted to. It's
a mouthful.
It's a mouthful. There's a lot of ways to interpret what he just said. Now this episode, this is like Star Trek. We're going where no man has gone before. We have never gone into this area on this show, which is a little bit on the kind of kinky side, kind of very sexual side. Definitely something that is very, I can't even explain it. Why don't you explain what Sugarwood is?
Yeah. So first of all, I'd use the word sex positive to describe it. So Sugarwood is an experiential dessert shop. As you said, we serve basically 2 products. They're both waffles. And what's interesting, unique about them is the shape. So we have one waffle called a Woody and the other one's called a Kitty. So you can imagine what body parts those are supposed to represent. And they're pretty realistic. And the whole thing, number one, is designed to, there you go, there's Woody on the left and Kitty on the right. The whole thing is designed to normalize, destigmatize, talk about body parts and sex. You know, everybody has a body and everybody has, these parts. And so, or most people do, I guess, almost everyone. And so, what better way to make it easy to talk about than with desserts? And they're actually truly delicious, but the whole thing is designed also as an experience. So people come in, there's all these jokes that we make. We have a whole wall of celebrity caricatures where their noses have been replaced by penises. And we also donate money we started off with one nonprofit called the Fluid Foundation, which is an LGBT focused organization that I know the founder. I think they do great work. And so we give money to them. So, we're trying to do a little bit of good in the world, right? We're as much good as we can through desserts. I mean, it's not even a win-win. It's like a win-win-win-win-win because we're making people happy with desserts. We're normalizing talk about things that should be normalized. We're giving back to our community, and And we aim to use no single serve plastics. So I've just tried to sort of incorporate all my passions into one business, and I think I've done a pretty good job of it.
Yeah, I would say you nailed it, because you got a lot of people's attention, a lot of media attention, both in print and social media and all over the country. Has there been, like, I'm sure some people are just thinking about this as we look at another picture here of the waffle and the Woody and the kitty, right?
Yep.
Um, what kind of backlash has there been in the community, or parents, or anything like? Have you gotten a lot of complaints?
To be honest, next to none. I mean, we are in New York City, so like, I think if we opened one in Topeka, Kansas, no offense to Topeka, but I think
Different story. Yeah.
that would be a different story. But yeah, we've had next to none. I mean, we've had the occasional Instagram comments. I remember early on, I got a comment. Somebody told me we were disgusting pigs, but like literally a handful of those comments. Or just people being trolls, and like when an influencer posts, they make a comment like, "Oh, that's gross," but like backlash, zero. To be honest, we've really been well received, and people come in and they really have a good time. Like they know what they're coming to do, and they have a great time. They're there to film videos for social media. They're to just like have a blast with their friends, or a bachelorette party, a birthday party, or whatever. And those are the people that come in. I think anybody that's not interested is just like, I'm not interested, and doesn't come, but nobody's really pushed back.
Yeah, that's actually really good. It shows you were kind of in this age of, I guess, acceptism, and being more open-minded to what is out there. Because I see this as, I mean, there's plenty of paintings and sculptures which feature private parts, and it's been around for hundreds of years. So this is just to me, just another art form.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's also very social media, friendly. I mean, that's the other thing that I see, people putting it in their mouth, and people that are visiting, and like, how has your social media exposure been? Like, what's your strategy there to keep on kind of blowing it up? Is it just to show really provocative, funny photos and videos, or what's your strategy?
I actually don't really invest a lot of money in content creation for the most part. We use a lot of user generated content because we get a lot of user generated content.
Right.
For me, it's been really wonderful, I guess is the best word, to have this business and to have the social media blow up the way it has. Because with Tio Gazpacho, awesome product, but you had to beg people to post about, a gazpacho or drinkable soup on Instagram or on any social media. And, I think we probably got to like 6,000 or 7,000 followers in 7 years. And the fact that we're at 40,000 combined between Instagram and TikTok in just about 7 months means we're doing something right. My strategy to make this very social media friendly worked, basically. So we're really, really happy with those results. And then keeping it fresh, I just think, we're going to actually invest in more content creation this year, because we want to do more reels, and those take a little bit more work, because also reels attract new followers. And then I also want to invest in TikTok, because we did very early on. I had an employee who was really well versed in TikTok, and she helped us get to, I think, something like 11,000 followers in just a few weeks. And then since she left, she had some health issues. We haven't really done much. And so we're only at like 12,000 followers now on TikTok. But I think that with the right person heading it up, because I think I'm probably too old for TikTok, to do a really good job.
Right.
And I just have too many things going on. I think we'll be able to blow that channel up as well. And also bring in new customers that way, because a lot of younger people, Gen Zers, are on there, and be a great place for them to learn about our brand.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's funny how we're saying we're too old now for social media. Before because I'm 40. I think you're in your 30s, right?
Thank you. I'm 42.
42. Wow. I did not know that. That was not a staged, compliment. That was real from the heart. He looks young. I mean, look at him. So, but it's funny how, like, when Instagram came out and Facebook, we were considered, the young guys, the young generation, pushing that to everyone in society. Now we're outdated, and TikTok basically aged us. So, or, makes us look a lot older. And it's the same thing too with Genius Juice. I don't know shit about how to grow a TikTok channel. And whatever I think is the right thing to do, it's totally opposite of what actually needs to be done.
Yeah.
It's like zany, crazy. It's different. It takes someone who really knows the algorithms, right? Really knows what's trending, like, and it doesn't even make sense to me half the time why it trends,
Yeah.
which is why we don't run our own Genius Juice. I don't run the Genius Juice TikTok page, rightfully
Yeah.
so.
So it's true story. The girl that was doing our TikTok at the beginning, my employee, she came to me one day and she said, "Oh, this sound is trending today," which is, I guess it's that specific, like things trend by the day.
Right.
And she said, "I'm going to make a video," and it's a song. It's a song that was in Spanish, and the word chocolate was in the lyrics. And so she made a 7-second video, which I think is the golden length, right, for
Right.
engagement. And it was just a kitty waffle with some chocolate and caramel sauce dripping on it. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm like, do
Yeah.
what you want, you get it. 3.1 million views.
It's insane. It's insane. I mean, like, this is why we don't understand. Our generation just doesn't understand it and why they're so good at it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they've been using it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I remember, you know, we had David Greenfeld over at Dream Pops, founder and co-founder and CEO. And one of their highest trending videos is someone taking the popsicle over a sink, and like there's a wrapper on it, and then they shake it, and then the wrapper falls off and it goes like "Ring." It's like a weird sound effect. It got millions of views, and I'm like, why is this their top video?
Yeah.
And honestly, I still don't. Again, like, it goes back to what's trending, like why yours blew up, right?
Algorithms. Yep.
So let's go to Tio Gazpacho. I want to go back
in time
in the DeLorean. Okay. You know, like, Doc. So let's go into your learnings from that business. I know it was acquired.
Yep.
Still a lot of challenges, right? Just, you know, having people learn, and there's all these entrepreneurs watching, you know, that are starting a business or running a business, and how you want to be unique, right? And be different and disruptive, but also how you want to scale a business in the future. So, like, what were your learnings from Tio? What were the victories, but also what were the challenges with coming out with this really innovative product, right? A drinkable soup.
So I would say this is going to sound like kind of boring or cliche, but the number one learning was to trust my gut.
Right.
There were a few times that I had to make really important decisions, especially around bringing people into the fold, whether they were board members or advisors or employees. And there were times where I just was like, something isn't sitting right with me. But I did it anyway because I was, you know, my board told me to, or because, you know, that was the only candidate or the only choice I had. And those never worked out. Anytime I had a bad feeling, it never worked out. And actually the same thing happened with Sugarwood. That learning I didn't apply to Sugarwood. I had some bad feelings early on and I didn't listen to my gut, and things could have worked out much differently if I had just stuck to my guns.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. That's more just sort of general advice. You know, I think as entrepreneurs, we have really good instincts, and so trust those instincts. And then more specific, I would say, you know, I was very laser focused on gazpacho as a category, or trying to create a category. And I was very much inspired by Greek yogurt. That was one dish, you know, in Greece and in the Middle East. And then it blew up into a category in the US, same thing with hummus. And so I was thinking that I could sort of recreate that magic with gazpacho and, you know, take traditional gazpacho, which is one thing, and blow it up into a category with lots of different products. And it was a brilliant idea. And I think that there's still an opportunity to do it. But I think I also had this idea of like, oh, well, what will we do next? And I had a really genius idea of like making it more about Mediterranean snacking. And so gazpacho would be one of the products in that portfolio. But I was so blind. I had my blinders on, and I was so laser focused on the gazpacho that I didn't really take much action on that other idea, which I think would have actually been really successful, to have a whole line of sort of tapas or something like that. And things that were more familiar and more recognizable, and also easier to sell, and easier supply chain with, you know, not being refrigerated. And so I just had my blinders on. And I think a lot of times entrepreneurs do that. And I marvel at people that are able to like quickly pivot or add new products, or just completely change their business, or, you know, move to a new business, sell one business, move to another, because I didn't have that vision at the time. And so I took that learning with me to Sugarwood. And so, you know, within 3 months, we already started adding new products to our portfolio. Obviously, it's not CPG, right? We're a retail store, so we can add things really easily. But, you know, I have a whole plan for 2023 of like literally about 15 new products that we're going to add. Most of them seasonal, but we're definitely going to expand our portfolio just to keep people coming back, to keep it fresh, keep it new, and make it exciting so it doesn't get stale. And so that I don't have my blinders on and say, no, just the waffles. Because the original concept was just the waffles, but I think there's more opportunity out there to add other products to our portfolio. And I'm taking action on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's no risk, no reward, right? You got to take risks at points in your business and also listen to your gut. And I think, like you said, like coming out with kind of like drops, I call them drops, like, oh, this season, this is the drop. It's limited edition. It's here
Yeah.
only for a month and then it's gone. I mean, Valentine's Day, you guys could go fucking crazy with that
Oh,
one
we are.
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's coming,
actually,
right?
another learning I would say is say yes. When people
Mm,
present you with an opportunity, think of reasons, maybe not always say yes, but think of reasons to say yes. And if you can find a reason, then do it. And I'll give you the best example with the now Sugarwood. Somebody came to us in November and they said, can you make these gingerbread people for us? They're like naughty gingerbread people.
yeah. Yeah. I saw that on your Instagram. Yeah.
And so they said, we just need like 15 of them. And I was like, well, we don't make cookies. Like we're a waffle shop, but I have a culinary partner. And I said to him, can you do this for me as a favor? And like, we'll charge them a lot. And he was like, yeah, sure. No big deal. And then when he made them, he's like, these are brilliant, because they had a very specific mold or a cookie cutter they wanted. And then I took them to the shop before I delivered them. And my staff was like, oh my God, can we sell these? And I was like, yeah, I guess we could try that. And we made like 50 and they sold out in a day. And we ended up selling 1,000 of them during Christmas time and holiday time. And we probably could have sold at least 2,500 if we had been able to make enough. And it was all because I said yes to this one little project that at first I was like, this is annoying. Why do these people want me to make cookies? We don't make cookies. But I said yes to it. And it really it made a big difference in our revenue for the month of December. So
yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think that's a really good example of that open-mindedness, just to try new things and get a little crazy.
yeah,
Like it's okay to get a little crazy because that's what people notice. And I mean, I come up with a lot of examples of other brands that are doing what you're doing at Sugarwood. Coconut Cult, right? They put a whole Hue bar, like it was called Happy Halloween, and this great chocolate company, Hue, they just put the whole bar in the yogurt. Like you open the cap, you see a whole bar. So these are things that, like, if it's crazy enough, it actually could work.
yeah,
And if you kind of go back in time at all the great inventors and the great visionaries, at the time, it seemed crazy.
yep.
But once they did it, it became accepted. It was first denied, it was first rejected, but eventually people accepted it and it caught on. So that's what you're doing. I mean, I think, as before we get to the next segment, are you the first shop in the country to do anything like this?
So we're not. And I was actually inspired by a shop that I saw in Madrid, Spain before the pandemic. And then after the pandemic, I was there again, and they were just crazy lines before the pandemic, and they still had lines 4 years later. And then I did a little research on them, and I realized that they had franchised the model, and they had opened 13 locations in Spain and had just opened in London. And then I was blown away by that. And so I said, this is really a big deal. Like this, they're onto something, and this could be really huge in the US. And if I don't do this myself, they're going to come to the US, or somebody else is going to do it. So I did the research in the US, and there already was a shop in Scottsdale, Arizona, because of bachelorette parties. It's a huge bachelorette party destination.
Didn't know that.
Miami and Chicago, and then also Toronto and Vancouver in North America. And so there was about 4 or 5. I haven't seen any others that have opened since we opened, and I think we're obviously the one getting the most attention. And I also am pretty ambitious, as you know, and so I have a whole plan of opening shops in other parts of the country and rolling out a DTC program. So I don't think anybody else anywhere in the world has the sort of ambitions that I have. Like the guy in Spain is pretty ambitious and has a ton of shops, but I think that they're really focusing on the waffles and the in-store experience. And that is probably not, a long-term strategy that would work in the US. So that's why I'm exploring other products and other avenues and other channels.
Yeah. You're taking something that is a very, very niche thing. Yet you're seeing success, you're seeing data behind it that people love. They buy thousands of these things right at each shop.
Yeah.
And now you're turning it into a real business and making it super fun and innovative. And then also the D2C play is going to be crucial. And I mean, it's great because all this stuff is shelf stable, right? So you can just ship it directly to them, right?
For the most part, I'm working right now with the food scientists just to make sure that we have a longer shelf life and playing around with some natural preservatives just to make sure that it's like it goes to 14 days.
Yeah.
Because right now, when we do ship them, we have to ship them FedEx 2-day. It's almost as if it were a perishable product.
Right.
And so I want to make sure once I get all the lab testing done, then I'll feel really confident and we're going to launch it in a big way. And hopefully that will coincide with some of these TV appearances that I have coming up. And then we'll just, sit back and watch the sales grow. Hopefully.
Yeah. It's a really good, I guess, position and area that you're in right now, because you established it, you have the brand, you have the shop, and now it's really just going to take, to me, like becoming a success in this business, or at least, as a business owner, sometimes comes down to these like singular moments where something happens just to shift everything.
Yeah.
A mention on social media, a TV appearance. So like, I feel like you're one appearance away from this, instead of being, it's a hit, but it could become like more of a sensation. And that's exciting that you're in that spot.
Yeah. And I'm prepared for it. When we got on Elvis Duran last month, we weren't ready for it. I just put up the Shopify store and it was really rinky dink. And like, just couldn't handle the traffic. I didn't know that was happening. I got the call, I think the day before. I mean, we'd been asking about it for a while, but on like December, I got the call on Thursday and they said, be there tomorrow morning on Friday morning. And, I even had Shopify set up so we could sell individual of these cookies, because I thought, we're going to get 200 orders or 100 orders or something like that. We got so many orders. Like I had to then like kept upping the minimum to, 3 cookies and then 6 cookies and then 10 cookies. We're still buying them. They were buying a $95 holiday cookie tray that had 10 cookies in it. And, and then I finally just had to shut it off because we had so many orders.
Wow. It's like you, it's like an airing on Shark Tank, but you didn't even need Shark Tank to get those orders. It was all organic, which is amazing.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Elvis Duran was super nice.
Yeah. So that's a podcast, Elvis Duran.
No, it's a nationally syndicated radio show. I mean, I remember him when I was in high school. I think he was a local DJ when I was in high school, but now he's like an iHeartRadio personality and has everybody on his team has hundreds of thousands of followers, and people listen to his show all over the country and order. I mean, we got orders from everywhere. So it was awesome. It was really great exposure.
Really cool. So that just goes out to people that are watching this, is that you can do so much without spending really any money. You're going to spend time, but you can literally be on radio shows. You can get some social fire without having to do ads or Facebook ads or Instagram. You probably have done very little, right? Facebook or Instagram ads.
We've done no
Zero
Instagram ads because I'm worried that they would go to the wrong person and they would complain and we would lose our account. So I'm scared to do Instagram and Facebook ads.
Right.
And then we have done a little bit of Google AdWords, but I still don't understand. I've been trying to analyze those results. I just don't think it's been successful, but I also might think it might be the partner that we're working with. I don't think they really understand how to sell our products. So I'm looking for a new Google AdWords expert. So if anybody's out there is a Google AdWords expert, please let me know.
There you go. You're going to get like 30 DMs on LinkedIn right after this.
And also TikTok. If there are TikTok experts out there, please give me a call.
And plenty of those. The question is, who is the right one for you? Who's going to understand your brand and blow it up. We work with a great social media team. I mean, they're great for like food and beverage and CPG, but this is a beast of its own. I got to say, like they really have to understand the culture and how unique it is and like who the audience is. And by the way, before we go to our next segment, who is your target market? Who is your audience?
So our target market is about 75% straight women. And then I'd say maybe about 20% gay men. And then the other 5% is just sort of everybody else. And I've seen it. I mean, the Instagram data says that we have 77% of our followers are female. And I can just sort of observe in the store. I'm there a lot, observing, interacting with customers and learning. And so I see it's mostly women that are coming in. We have a really interesting phenomenon that there's a lot of African-American customers that come in and I'm loving it. I don't know why. And I'd love to figure out what's appealing to this particular segment. It's sort of, disproportionate amount of African-Americans. And I love it because the people that come in, I mean, everyone that comes in is there to have a good time, but there's a lot of these customers that are African-American that are just like so full of joy and so excited to be there and just bring a great energy. So I'm curious to learn a little bit more about that. And then we have a lot of, LGBT customers as well. And they're also there to have a good time and make some funny videos for their social media and, and just laugh a little bit and let loose for, even if it's just 10 minutes.
Yeah. It's cool. It's two birds, one stone. You get something to eat, right? You're filled up, and then you also, it's funny, right? You feel good.
Yeah. But I would say that there's really not one profile only, right? I mean, I said it's mostly straight women, but, we've had people from all over the world, from places that you would think of as sort of conservative countries. We've had young people, we don't let people in that are super young, but, we've had younger people come in. We've had grandmothers come in, bring their kid. The 60-year-old grandmother brings her 40-year-old daughter. Like, we've had everything you can imagine. People that don't speak English, people that, what I think is really interesting, we have a lot of people that come in and I say, where are you from? And then I think, wow, there's a shop like ours in your city, but they had us on their bucket list for coming to New York, and they were so excited to come. So I don't actually usually ask, like, did you know that there's one in London, or did you know that there's one in Paris, I guess. But yeah, people put on their bucket list to come, and it's turning into a New York thing, which was my hope. My goal was to have it be up there with some of those, touristy destinations like Prince Street Pizza and Cronuts and things like that. I want it to be on that list as well.
Yep. You're in the perfect location for that, for sure, like you said. So for those that want to find your shop at your shop, eat what's at your shop, what is your address?
We're 157 Prince Street in New York, and that's Prince and West Broadway in Soho. And we're actually conveniently located to about like 6 or 7 different metro lines or subway lines. So easy to find us. And coincidentally, we're right between Dominique Ansel, the Cronut place, and Prince Street Pizza, the curly pepperoni pizza place that's went viral about 2 or 3 years ago. So if you're in Soho looking for some Instagram worthy food, we're right there alongside 2 of the famous ones.
Yeah, it's great location, and also Soho. It just screams to be in Soho. And then Instagram handle.
Instagram is sugarwood.us.
Yeah,
and that
got it.
That also works for social or for our website, but our main address is sugarwood.co. But you can use either one.
Perfect. All right. So our next segment before we conclude here is called Rapid Fire Questions.
Rapid Fire Questions.
All right. So I'm going to pull up some questions here. Actually, I have it right here on my desktop. I'm just going to find it. Boom. Normally I'm prepared, but not today. There's a reason why, but I'll spare you the story. All right. So it's opening up here. This is going to be rapid fire questions. So what we do is we ask 15 questions to our guest, and then we just to get to know you better. I mean, I know you well. A lot of people on LinkedIn know you well, but not everyone knows you well. So we're going to get into some questions, and you can just answer them as quickly as whatever comes to your mind.
Sounds great.
Right. First question, for music, which decade is the best, the 70s, 80s, or the 90s?
I mean, I came of age in the 90s, so I'd probably say the 90s, just because that's most of my favorite albums came out in the 90s. So 90s.
Got it. What do you do for exercise?
I go to the gym. I do a lot of cardio and sometimes lift weights. And I used to do a lot of yoga, but I have really fallen off since the pandemic, and I need to get back on that.
Same here. I literally have not gone back to my local yoga studio. I still have like coupons to have free classes there, and I have not been there in 3.5 years. So yeah, I pass by it like one day. Next one, movie you can watch an unlimited amount of times.
There's a movie from the late 90s called Drop Dead Gorgeous.
I've never seen that, but go ahead.
It's a mockumentary. It's sort of like Best in Show. And it has the most brilliant cast you've ever seen. It's like Amy Adams, Kirstie Alley, Brittany Murphy, like all these really famous people, most of them either before they got famous or were, like Kirstie Alley was already famous. But I think because it's sort of like a silly movie, you can't find it anywhere. So I have it on DVD, and I will actually pull out a DVD player to watch it once in a while. It's so funny and so stupid. It's about a high school beauty pageant in a small town in Minnesota. Highly recommended.
Yeah, that sounds really quirky. I could definitely. I was thinking that it was a kind of a rom-com, but it's definitely a little different than that, right?
There might be another movie called Drop Dead Gorgeous or a TV show or something like that, but
Okay.
this one is a mockumentary, very similar to Best in Show in that it's just hilarious and just totally zany and silly.
Cool. Check it out. Favorite country to travel to?
Spain.
Could have guessed that one. Favorite Star Wars character?
Oh, I mean, I just know Star Wars characters that are famous, so probably what's the gold robot? I really don't know Star Wars.
C-3PO.
There you go, C-3PO.
Yeah. He's a smart guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's yeah. So what is your spirit animal?
Spirit animal. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I love French bulldogs, so I think I'm sort of similar to a French bulldog, maybe.
I could see that. I could see that. Do you like to drive an SUV, a coupe, or a truck?
A coupe.
For food, this one's an interesting one, considering the business you're in. For food, salty or sweet?
I love both, but if I had to choose, I would say salty.
Yep. That's your roots, right, with Tio Gazpacho, right?
Yeah.
But the day that they removed the spoon off the label, I'm like, man, that's just such a bad move. You know, that's what made it so cool when I first saw it. This was after it was sold.
Right?
Right? Yeah. Shows that the founder knows best. They have the best instincts. Favorite day of the week and why?
I'm going to go with probably Saturday because you're rested. I mean, not anymore, but back in the day when I had a weekend, I was rested and lots of possibilities and lots of things to do.
Cool. And then Uber or Lyft?
Lyft. Give you Delta miles, and I think it's a less shady company.
Yeah, I would agree with that. LeBron James, greatest of all time, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or Kobe?
I'm just going to go with Michael Jordan because I remember him being a big phenomenon when I was growing up, but I'm not a huge sports fan, so can't answer like as a sports fan.
Well, you answered correctly. That's all that matters. I mean, you look at all his stats, you look at 6 rings. I mean, Kobe, LeBron are amazing athletes, but MJ just had the mental aptitude, right? In the moment in the game, which other guys just didn't have. Kobe was up there too, believe me. LeBron, sometimes. So I don't know if you've seen these movies. Are you an action movie guy at all?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, depends.
Okay. So you probably have seen these. I'm sure you have. So which one is better, Terminator 1 or Terminator 2?
Oh, Terminator 2 is just a classic.
Yeah, I love that movie. All right. Favorite food or drink if you're stuck on a deserted island? You cannot say Genius Juice, you cannot say Tio Gazpacho, and you cannot say Sugarwood.
Can I say all 3? No. I would say some sort of Thai dish. I love Thai food. I could eat Thai food for literally breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So something Thai.
Cool. All right. Well, that's the rapid fire questions with Austin Allan, founder, CEO of Sugarwood. Again, he mentioned the website sugarwood.co, right? Mm-hmm. And then you can also check out, you can just Google it, Sugarwood in New York, and you can find a storefront and go there. I'm sure many storefronts coming in the future as well. And yeah, man, good to reconnect with you and see you at the show. And thanks for joining us today on 15 Minutes of Genius.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care, Austin, and have a good rest of the day, everyone.
You too.
Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.